Hey there, how are you today? My name is Dana Damara. You have landed on Astrocast. This is the full moon report for the full moon in Capricorn happening on June 21st, 2024 at 6:08 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Now, it's a full moon in Capricorn. I want to say this is the first of two full moon in Capricorns happening one right after the other. So the next full moon that we experience on July 21st will also be a full moon in Capricorn. Every year we always have one sign of the zodiac where the full moon is the same sign. It just happens because we have 13 lunations a year and only 12 calendar months. So full moon Capricorn. That's the first thing I want to say. The second thing I want to say is the day prior to the full moon is the summer solstice or the winter solstice, depending upon where you are in the world experiencing this change of the seasons. Now, first of all, I'll talk a little bit about the solstice toward the end of this recording. But what I want to say is that normally we have full moons are always about letting go. Full moons are about releasing, they're about purging, they're about letting go, they're about celebrating what we've accomplished, what we've gone through, where we're at. Think about the lunar cycles, and then we have a new moon, and then a full moon, and then a new moon. So in between those new moons, there's a full moon, and that full moon is an opportunity to say, hey, where am I on the trajectory of what intentions I set with the new moon? Makes total sense. Now, with this in particular full moon, because it's falling in the sign of Capricorn, it's falling at 1 degree Capricorn and 1 degree Cancer. Because we have this new beginning energy, because it's happening right around the solstice, there's a huge energy of new beginnings. So it's not only endings, it's beginnings. And that's really important to note, right? So I'm going to show you my screen and I'll just share with you what we're talking about. All right. Okay. Let's get my glasses on. There we go. Okay, so here's the sun in Cancer, 1 degree Cancer, and there's the moon, 1 degree Cancer. And so you see it's all those red lines across from one another. That means that there's opposition. So whenever we have an opposition, it creates tension. That's just the way it is. It's opposition. But you'll notice right next to the sun, we have Mercury and Venus. So we've got Mercury and Venus really close to one another. They're not on top of one another, but it's close enough to call it a conjunction. So this energy amplified around the full moon is going to revolve around your value, financial situations, money, love, romance, communication. That's all opposing the moon. Okay, so emotions might run a little bit high. Our speech might be a little bit more sensitive, a little bit more. We might be more sensitive to what we're hearing or how we're interpreting things. So just be really, really mindful. And then one of the challenging things about this full moon is that we have Neptune here, and Neptune is actually creating a T-square. So Neptune is sitting at 29 degrees Pisces, and it's been there seemingly forever, but not forever. And it's creating this tension through a square with the sun, with Venus, with Mercury, and then with the moon. So Neptune is the planet of dreams and imagination and fantasy and illusion. And so if you have, issues around understanding what's real and what's made up in your head, which we all do, by the way, pay attention, right? If you're confused about something, just sit with it for a couple more days. Don't make any decisions on anything that you're confused about or you're unsure about or you're unclear. Let things unfold. And I can tell you that whatever arises for you on this full moon in June will be like part one of your story. And then the culmination or the quote unquote part two will be around the full moon in Capricorn in July. This is a really, really, really powerful time to to ground into, that's Capricorn, to ground into, you know, your rituals, your physical practice, your um, emotions, whatever, when I say ground in, whatever feels right in the body, that's what you need to be doing. It's really important to be disciplined. This is Capricorn after all. This is a Capricorn moon, and so this governs career, it covers family, it governs your home, right? And so being super disciplined, but also being a little bit light on your feet. It is the moon in Capricorn after all, and not the sun. Mercury sextiles Mars. So Mercury is right here, and then here's Mars. And so Mercury sextiling Mars makes everything move a little bit quicker. It's quick moving energy. It's confidence, it's decisiveness, it's quick thinking, it's concentration, there's courage involved, right? You can achieve all of these things, and just watch out for Neptune. like dial up your intuition, because your intuition's going to tell you, am I supposed to be moving on this, or am I supposed to be not moving on this? I like to, most often, I like to say, if it's not a hell yes, then it's a no. Right now, I would say, just, if it's not a hell yes, take a pause. I wouldn't say be quick to say no. I would say take a pause. Um, Saturn is 19 degrees Pisces, and when on the 29th, Saturn's going to go into retrograde. And so, patience, trust that the timing is perfect with everything that you have going on. Pluto will be re-entering Capricorn in a few months here. And so any Pluto lessons that you have been working on will take one more dip into Capricorn and then move back out of Capricorn for the rest of our lifetimes, all of us. Pay attention to the things that you're letting go of. When we really focus on what it is that we're letting go of, whether it's a pattern or a thought or a relationship or whatever, we empower ourselves to move into the next thing. And that's Capricorn. Capricorn wants us to move into the next thing. Capricorn wants us to be disciplined. And you have to listen. You have to tune into your intuition and really, really listen. I think for me, one thing I've learned is that when I accept, where I am, when I say to myself, okay, like, this is just where I'm at. I can't wish that I would have done this, or I can't wish that I was here. I have to say, okay, this is where I'm at. This is obviously perfect. Even if there's a sense of discomfort, maybe investigate where the discomfort's coming from, but accepting where we are and allowing ourselves to be disciplined in our thoughts and in our words and in our actions is really powerful with this full moon. I would take a moment in time to just journal about maybe something that you're unclear about, and allow yourself to surrender it to spirit, to source, to God, to whatever you want to call that higher power that is bigger than you, because there is a higher power bigger than you. Just surrender it and then allow it to unfold on its own. I think some of us have a little issue with that, but I would say this is the time to really dive in. Let me pull up my screen one more time. So the other thing that is going on right around this full moon is that we begin Cancer season. So the sun, see, it's at 1 degree, right? So each zodiac sign has 29 degrees in it. So when the moon's full and solstice happens, we enter Cancer season. And so, you know, this full moon falls at the beginning of Cancer season, and then the next full moon falls at the end of Cancer season. Now, Cancer is very, very sensitive. Cancer is very, very emotional. Cancer is very, very, the moon. Cancer is very feminine. So allow yourself to feel a sense of compassion for yourself, feel compassion for others that are in your life that whether you think that they deserve it or not, they do. So have some compassion, and and maybe just allow yourself some space to nourish yourself, right? Like do something that really supports your well-being, whether it's sitting in nature or swimming or surfing or practicing yoga or listening to music or just taking a whole day and not talking to anybody. Like, whew, that would be a big yes. Um, the solstice is going to bring the longest and the shortest day of the year, depending upon where you're at, right, in the world. And so we really want to be here in the Northern Hemisphere. We really want to know that we are now entering into the summer solstice, summer season. And so, the lights shining and we're moving into this, longer days and beautiful, being able to put beautiful visions out into the world. We have more time, it seems. It's also a reminder, the solstice is also a reminder for us that, it is the middle of the calendar year, right? It's the middle of the calendar year. Now, we all abide by the calendar year. There are some of us who are like, okay. And we know that there's other things at play, like seasons and things of that nature. But let's just say, for sake of ease and simplicity, that we are in the middle of the year. So how are you doing with your goals, with your intentions, with your health, with anything that you wanted to focus on? Have you gone a different direction? Bring yourself back. The solstice is a powerful time to really sit and soak up energy around you. Honestly, like sound healing is wonderful, breath is wonderful, listening to the birds is wonderful, swimming in the ocean is wonderful, walking in the mountains and the forest, anything where you can commune with nature and remember that you are part of all that is. I think when we can remember that, when we come to a change of a season, when we come to something like a solstice or an equinox, it's a pause. It's a time where we can go, oh my God, yeah, that's right. I'm part of everything. This is so cool. And there's something that is way bigger than me that is supporting me in my journey on this planet to fulfill my karma and my dharma. And sometimes it's uncomfortable, but if I just take a minute to ground into that and remember that, things start to make sense. They might be a little confusing at first, but they start to make sense. You start to recognize like why certain things have happened and why certain people are in your life and what lessons are for why. I mean, it's life, right? So with this full moon, I want you to be still if you can. I want you to be um, reflective. Ask yourself, what have I done over the last 6 months to move me toward my goals? And look, if you fall off the wagon and you look back at your goals from the beginning of the year and then you are like, God, I didn't do anything. Don't beat yourself up, because then you're just going to carry all that energy with you and you don't want that either. So with this full moon, I would say, enjoy the full moon, be disciplined, ask yourself what's really important to me, allow yourself to turn the page of this chapter that you are now closing, whatever it is, and take some time to be in nature, for sure. Be in nature. If you want your chart read, I would love to do that for you. Please feel free to reach out to me anytime. You can find me at dana@danadamara.com. Thank you so much. You guys have such a beautiful day. Namaste.